Are you looking for true personal freedom? The freedom to design a life you truly desire? Then you're absolutely in the right place. True personal freedom comes from when you take 100% responsibility and control of your money and your mind. Here you're going to learn ideas, tips, and wisdom that's going to help you bridge the gap from where you are now to your dream life in the future. My name is Randy Wilson, and welcome to the Rich Mind Podcast. Welcome back to the Rich Mind Podcast. And today I want to talk about opportunity and opportunities and how they are literally everywhere if you know where to look and kind of get out from underneath the beliefs and the ideas that all the opportunities are gone. There's no really any way to find them. And I want to do that today through a couple of different stories, something that has happened to me a while back, and then also another little story that actually literally happened over this past weekend. And just express to you that opportunities, when you know what you're looking for, are literally everywhere. So now the biggest challenge that I have, so a mentor of mine and friend, and he's coaching me as right now, right as I'm recording this, he's been my coach now really since the first of the year. He's challenging me to determine what is it that I really want, and I'm struggling with that question. And I've really struggled with that question for a very long time, and you might struggle with that as well. But what I will tell you is that every time he asks me that, I get a little bit more clear of what that is for me. So I will challenge you right now. What is it that you really want? If you could have anything in this whole wide world, doesn't matter the dollar amount, doesn't matter what it is, there's no judgment. It's whatever you desire. And with what the important part of that message is because this last call that we had, he looked at me and he said, "You'll never know what the next step is required for you to get to where you want to be until you figure out exactly where you want to go. And what is it that you want?" And so that's the whole idea, is that if you don't have clarity on what it is that you desire, the next steps, the next action, things that you need to do, the next book you need to read, the next connection you need to make, the next phone call you need to make, none of that matters because you don't exactly know where it is, the destination that you want to go. So get clarity on what is it that you want. So I'm working on that as we speak. He challenged me to come up with a list, and I'm working on that list. As I mentioned, it's not necessarily easy, but it's a interesting and fun process. So let me take you back to a couple of things that actually has happened. And I know why he's challenging me, and it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I also know that it's going to work. So back before I was able to leave my W-2 job. So my last job that I had, I was with the Coca-Cola company. I was a sales rep for them. And I could not wait to figure out what it is that I was going to do to be able to get out from that job. I was just eager to find something to build, to be able to leave the W-2, jump into this world of entrepreneurship and start figuring things out for myself. And I couldn't quite put the dots together, or as far as like put the pieces together, the puzzle that was going to allow me then to replace my income that I was making at the job. So I was in the process of building my Amazon business, and it was going well, but it was still in the startup phases. So I didn't have enough to fall back on as far as to live on at that point. Plus, I still had my children at home also. So I had responsibilities, and I had to make sure that I met those obligations. But what happened was that because I knew that I needed to find a way to leave the W-2 world, and I didn't know exactly what it meant. I didn't know what it was going to be. But what happened was, and because I knew that that was what my vision was for myself, on a trip to the airport, I believe this was back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. We usually, my wife and I, when we were traveling, we would normally just drive our car and park in the parking lot, right? Just simple basic stuff. But for some reason this time we decided that we were going to take a ride, the ride share. And I don't remember if it was Uber or if it was Lyft, and it doesn't matter. Regardless, it doesn't matter. But this was the first experience that we had getting a ride to the airport versus taking our car and parking it in the parking lot. And the magic happened was jumping in that it was a gentleman's truck. I'll never forget. He picked us up in a full size pickup truck, my wife and I got to sit next to him on the way, and I started just peppering him with questions about the rideshare, what it is, what it meant, how he was able to basically be his own boss, whether if it was profitable or not, how much time he was putting in. I was just hitting him with a bunch of questions that it never even dawned on me that that could actually be a potential opportunity for me to use as a tool to get me out of my W-2 job. Fast forward, then coming back home with my wife. So we were at wherever we went. I forget exactly where that trip was, but on the way back home from that trip, I just started talking to my wife. It's like, wow, what if this is it? What if that's the thing I need, the extra that we needed for me to then leave my job? And she was on board. I can't say she was 100% from the first time that I brought it up, but as we talked about it, as we thought through how we would be able to just basically run it like a business, right? Create an LLC. I bought the car, depreciated the car, meaning I just treated it just like a business. And doing some math, some quick numbers, I figured out that if I was able to basically work in the mornings driving, and then I could shut that down early afternoon or so, and then come home and continue to work on building out the other business that I was working on at the time. And that's exactly what I did. So I tested small. I signed up for the different platforms. I think I did Lyft at first. And I went out and tested it, see if it was something that I could even do. This is before I spent any money on a car. This is before I did anything. I didn't set up anything right away, but I tested it. I signed up, got approved, did a few rides, made sure that it was going to be something that, number one, that I could do, and that I was willing to provide that service. And it went great. And I would say within a very short period of time after having that happen is when I finally went in and I turned in my notice and I left the W-2 world. So that's what happened for me is then I drove in the mornings. I would work from say 5, 6 o'clock in the morning until noon, 1 o'clock that afternoon, shut that down, and then go to work on my other business for the rest of the day. And I just kept continue to build on top of that to the point where then I was able to finally get the Amazon business big enough. And then I was able to stop driving uh, in the mornings even. So I got more of my time back and then was able to focus more on the Amazon business after that. So the idea of having your vision of what it is that you're wanting to do is the key point to that story. Had I not been looking for and knowing that I could not continue or I did not want to continue on with my job was the key point of jumping in that car, being inquisitive with the driver, asking him all kinds of questions, which led me to the opportunity to then, that was exactly what I needed to get out of my W-2 job. So the point is that make sure that you have a crystal clear vision of exactly what you want first. When you know what you want, the opportunities are going to show up. I had another opportunity presented to me over this past weekend. I think, as I mentioned, it's an idea that I had with my wife and I, thinking that something that would fit in well with what we are doing right now. And I happened to run into someone at a mastermind event that, in a very brief conversation, it was even after the event was even over, it was just a chance conversation. He potentially has an opportunity that's going to fit into exactly what I have envisioned for myself, that I don't know if it's going to turn into anything. I'm not sure. And it remains to be seen. But the point is that had I not have the vision of what it is that I want for my life moving forward with business and my family, I wouldn't have been open to having that conversation with this gentleman just a few days ago, which could potentially lead into the opportunity that I've been looking for a while. Opportunities are there if you get clarity on exactly what it is that you're looking for. So that would be my message for you today. Come up with what it is that you're looking for. Are you looking to get out of your W-2 job? Are you looking to change jobs? Are you looking to begin a new business? The opportunity to find those things are there if you're open and you have clarity of the destination of where you're looking to go. So start with that point first and watch the opportunities then will begin to show up. They'll come from different directions. They'll come in forms that you may not be looking for currently at this moment. But when they do show up, you're going to be ready because you're going to know exactly when they do show up that that's what you've been looking for, and you'll be able to take action right away. So that would be my last point. When these opportunities show up, I've learned, take action. Don't wait. Do something about it right away. Make the call, make the connection. When I came home, I got signed up for the driving rideshare right away. This conversation I had with this gentleman over the weekend, I reached out to him right away on Monday morning and started the conversation. Take action right away. Don't talk yourself out of the opportunity that presents itself. That's going to be the fastest way for it to basically retreat. And you do not want that to happen as well. So take action once the opportunity presents itself. So I hope you found value in that those couple little stories. The idea and the point is, just like my coach and mentor is challenging me, get clarity of exactly what you want. What is it that you desire? Get clarity, get an idea, and then watch the opportunities start to present themselves, and that will be your how. And once you do that, that's when the magic is going to begin to happen. So once again, I hope you found value in that message. If you are enjoying the podcast, I'd really appreciate if you take a few minutes and share it with your family and your friends. I'm always looking to try to spread the message with folks that will find value in my message. So if you could take some time to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And I appreciate you listening this far into this episode and the past episodes as well. So go out there, make it a fantastic day. I look forward to talking to you again very soon on the next episode. Until then now, bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on the Rich Mind Podcast. I hope you found a ton of value in this episode. If so, I'd really appreciate a 5-star review, and you can also share it with your family and friends. And as my mentor Jim Rohn shared with me, in order to have more, you must first become more. And in order to become more, you must work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So go out there today and work harder on yourself to become more and build the life of your dreams. Until next time, my friends.